The landscape of North America is dotted with ancient mounds, silent witnesses to a past civilization that flourished long before Columbus set sail for the New World. These mounds, constructed by the myriad cultures collectively known as the Mound Builders, represent a fascinating chapter in the pre-Columbian history of the continent. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss new stories. And also, write a comment what story you would like to hear next. The historical background of the Mound Builders encompasses a fascinating and complex tapestry of cultures that thrived in North America long before European explorers set foot on the continent. These indigenous peoples, known collectively for their practice of constructing various earthen mounds, spanned a period from as early as 1000 BCE to the 16th century CE. Their mounds, which vary in size, shape, and purpose, are found across a wide geographic area, including the Great Lakes, the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys, and parts of the southeastern United States. The Adena culture, emerging around 1000 BCE in what is now the Ohio Valley, marks one of the earliest known mound-building societies. The Adena people are credited with initiating the mound-building tradition that would become a significant aspect of North American prehistory. Their mounds, primarily used for burial and ceremonial purposes, reflect a society deeply engaged in ritualistic practices and the honoring of the dead. The Adena mounds, often rounded in shape, contained elaborate burial goods, such as jewelry, pottery, and tools, indicating a belief in an afterlife where these items could be of use. Following the Adena, the Hopewell tradition, circa 200 BCE to 500 CE, represented a significant expansion in the scale and complexity of mound building. The Hopewell people, flourishing in areas that include present-day Ohio, Illinois, and Indiana, are renowned for their sophisticated earthworks and extensive trade networks that span the continent. The Hopewell mounds, larger and more numerous than their Adena predecessors, served a variety of functions, from ceremonial centers to burial sites, reflecting a complex society with advanced knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and engineering. The Adena people were also responsible for constructing some of the first earthwork enclosures in the region, which are believed to have served ceremonial purposes and as gathering places for the community. These structures demonstrate the Adena's sophisticated understanding of geometry and astronomy, as many are aligned with celestial events. The Hopewell culture's trade networks are particularly noteworthy, with artifacts found in their mounds originating from as far away as the Rocky Mountains and the Gulf of Mexico. This wide-reaching exchange facilitated not only the movement of goods, but also ideas, customs, and technologies across vast distances. The Hopewell are also noted for their intricate artwork, including finely crafted copper figures, mica cutouts, and elaborate pottery, which often depicted cosmological and animal themes. These artifacts, found within their mounds, suggest a rich spiritual life centered around a deep connection to the natural and celestial worlds. The Mississippian culture, which emerged around 800 CE and lasted until the arrival of Europeans in the 16th century, represents the zenith of pre-Columbian mound building in North America. The Mississippians constructed some of the largest and most impressive earthworks, including the monumental Cahokia Mounds near modern-day St. Louis, Missouri. Cahokia, with a population that may have reached 20,000 at its peak around 1100 CE, believed to have been one of the largest cities in the world at its peak around 1100 CE, is home to Monk's Mound, the largest pre-Columbian earthwork in the Americas. The Mississippians practiced advanced agriculture, cultivating maize, beans, squash, and other crops, which supported their dense populations and allowed for the development of complex societal hierarchies. Their social structure was highly stratified, with a powerful elite class that wielded significant religious and political power. The Mississippian culture is also known for its distinctive pottery styles, ceremonial copper axes, known as celts, and shell gorgets, which were often engraved with intricate designs. These artifacts, along with the remains of their monumental architecture, provide insight into the Mississippians' complex cosmology and social organization. The Mississippian mounds were often part of large ceremonial complexes that included plazas and wooden palisades. These structures served as platforms for temples, residences of elites, and centers for political and religious activities. The Mississippians' advanced agricultural practices supported large populations, allowing for the development of complex hierarchical societies. The decline of mound-building cultures is a subject of ongoing research and debate among archaeologists. Factors such as climate change, overpopulation, warfare, and the arrival of European diseases may have contributed to the decline of these complex societies. Despite their decline, the legacy of the mound builders lives on, not only in the mounds themselves but also in the cultural practices and oral histories of the Native American tribes who are their descendants. The construction and purpose of the mounds built by the various cultures of the mound builders in pre-Columbian North America are subjects of great interest and study. These earthen structures, which vary significantly in size, shape, and complexity, reflect the technological skill, social organization, and cosmological beliefs of their creators. The construction of mounds required a significant investment of labor and resources, demonstrating the organized social structures of the mound builder cultures. The basic technique involved the manual collection of soil from nearby sources, which was then transported, usually by baskets or other carrying devices, and deposited in the designated area. Layers of earth were compacted to create stability, with some mounds being constructed over extended periods, sometimes spanning generations. In addition to earth, some mounds incorporated other materials such as stone, clay, and shell, especially in the construction of burial mounds or specific ceremonial structures. The choice of materials, along with the specific shapes and orientations of the mounds, often had symbolic or functional significance, reflecting the cultural and spiritual beliefs of the society. Many of the earliest mounds were constructed as burial sites. These burial mounds served not only as final resting places for the dead, but also as markers of social status and means to commemorate the deceased. They often contained elaborate grave goods such as pottery, tools, and ornamental items, indicating beliefs in an afterlife and the social hierarchy of the community. Some mounds were built as part of larger ceremonial complexes, serving as the focal points for religious ceremonies and gatherings. These structures could be aligned with astronomical events, such as solstices and equinoxes, reflecting the mound builders' deep understanding of the cosmos and its significance in their religious and cultural practices. Particularly in the Mississippian culture, many mounds were constructed as platforms for temples, elite residences, and other significant structures. These flat-topped mounds elevated important buildings above the surrounding landscape, emphasizing their significance and providing a central place for political and religious activities. Some cultures, particularly in the upper Midwest, constructed mounds in the shapes of animals, humans, or symbolic designs. These effigy mounds are believed to have served religious or ceremonial purposes, possibly representing clan totems or spiritual symbols. The exact meanings of these effigy mounds remain subjects of speculation and study. Archaeological discoveries related to the mound builders have provided invaluable insights into these complex societies that flourished in pre-Columbian North America. These discoveries have not only illuminated the construction techniques and purposes of the mounds, but have also revealed details about the daily lives, social organization, trade networks, and cosmological beliefs of the people who built them. Cahokia, located near present-day St. Louis, Missouri. Cahokia is one of the largest and most complex archaeological sites associated with the Mississippian culture. Its centerpiece, Monk's Mound, is the largest pre-Columbian earthwork in the Americas and served as the platform for a large building, likely used for ceremonial or political purposes. Serpent Mound. This effigy mound in Ohio, attributed to the Fort Ancient culture, a later culture influenced by the Hopewell tradition, represents a snake with an undulating body that stretches over 2,300 feet. The mound's alignment with astronomical events suggests a sophisticated understanding of astronomy and its significance in the culture's cosmology. Moundville. Located in Alabama, this site was a political and ceremonial center of the Mississippian culture. It features more than 20 platform mounds arranged around a central plaza, indicating a high degree of social organization and centralization. Excavations have uncovered a wealth of artifacts, including elaborate pottery, stone tools, and ceremonial objects that provide insight into the religious practices and social hierarchy of the community. The history and achievements of the mound builders have been subject to various myths and misconceptions since their discovery by European settlers. These misconceptions often stemmed from a combination of early archaeological misunderstandings, cultural biases, and outright fabrications, which have since been corrected through scientific archaeological research. One of the most persistent myths is that the mounds were not built by Native American peoples, but by a mysterious lost civilization. This theory suggested that the indigenous peoples encountered by Europeans were incapable of such architectural feats, and that the mounds must have been the work of an advanced, ancient civilization that had disappeared by the time Europeans arrived. This myth was fueled by the early American fascination with the mound builders as a romanticized, vanished race. Linked to the myth of a lost civilization, some early theories proposed that the mound builders were descendants of biblical tribes or ancient civilizations from other parts of the world, such as the lost continent of Atlantis or the Phoenicians. These theories were often motivated by a desire to connect American history to biblical or classical narratives, reinforcing the notion of American exceptionalism. Another misconception is the idea that the mounds were built by giants or extraterrestrial beings. This notion has been perpetuated by pseudo-archaeological theories and sensationalist media, despite lacking any credible evidence. Such theories undermine the achievements of the indigenous cultures and ignore the wealth of archaeological data supporting the human construction of the mounds. There's a common misconception that the mound builders were a single, homogeneous group. In reality, the term mound builders encompasses a variety of distinct cultures spanning thousands of years and a vast geographic area. These cultures, including the Adena, Hopewell, Mississippian, and others, each had their unique characteristics, practices, and mound building traditions. While many mounds were indeed used for burial purposes, not all mounds served this function. Some were ceremonial centers, platforms for important buildings, or constructed for astronomical observations. The diversity in mound purposes reflects the complexity of the societies that built them and their sophisticated understanding of architecture, astronomy, and spirituality. The dispelling of these myths has been a slow but steady process, facilitated by advancements in archaeological methods and a deeper appreciation of Native American history and culture. Today, it is widely acknowledged among scholars that the mounds were constructed by the ancestors of contemporary Native American tribes. This recognition is not only a testament to the ingenuity and complexity of these cultures, but also a crucial step in correcting historical inaccuracies and honoring the heritage of Native American peoples. The mounds are not merely relics of the past, but beacons that illuminate the rich tapestry of human history on the North American continent, reminding us of the complex and interconnected societies that once thrived here. In studying and preserving these ancient structures, we keep alive the memory of the mound builders, ensuring that their legacy endures for future generations to explore and appreciate. Thank you for watching the video. If you have questions, write them in the comments, and also check out our channel. We have some more interesting videos.